Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 4th, the 4th of August, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you the rest to read. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. And yes, I'll disappear from that little left corner in there, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the chart, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us, guys. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us, and we can go from there. So, guys, let's, because I already kind of started a little bit late, so apologies for that. But yeah, let's jump into the chart straight away. So, as you can see here, yesterday we saw Nikkei declining and continuing to decline. And look, my target got reached, the 31,803 zone right here. And that was, like I said, a great result here. What I talked about previously, that I said that if we do break this upside line and then we also fall, for example, then further below this 50-day EMA, then my next target is the 31,803 zone, approximately around here. Good result. So now what's next? Well, to be honest, at this point, I think I'll play the waiting game a little bit, and I'll just gonna observe the price action. Why? Because again, I don't want to, this upside line, for example, no longer needed. Now maybe we'll have ourselves a range, or maybe we'll have ourselves a descending triangle pattern forming here. Either way, this barrier right now, let me just grab a rectangle here. This barrier, this hurdle, could present itself with a nice area of support. And then yes, we could in a way, like I said, consider it maybe for like a rebound. However, if we sorry, I just had to clean up my glasses a little bit. So if we do break below it, of course, yes, potentially more sellers could join in. Look, yesterday we broke below it already, and this level, by the way, is the lowest point of July. So yesterday we kind of violated that hurdle, but we failed to stay below it. So I need to see the the index kind of dropping and staying below it, and then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with further downside. China 50 index. Oh, by the way, in terms of the upside on this one, well, this is a tricky moment actually, then, because look, previously I had these levels, but now I think it's they might not actually carry much significance. And in general, at the moment, I don't see like a level or anything like that, which could work out for me perfectly here. I think that maybe if we do climb back above the 50-day EMA, this potentially could open the door back towards this downside line drawn from the high of the 16th of June. And then, yes, we will just kind of go from there. The China 50 index. Looking at the picture here, we had a nice rebound, so that's fine. Yesterday, I said to you that, look, I'm going to keep an eye on that 13,252 territory. If we do climb above it and stay above it, then yes, I will consider a move back up. Now, ideally, I'm aiming for this 13,658 zone, but of course, we need to be a little bit more on the careful side here, and if we do aim higher, maybe initially aiming for something here, this 13,522, 536 zone levels, maybe these could be the better targets for now, and then we'll just go from there. And of course, with the numbers, look, the main thing right now is to keep an eye on the on other indices. I think that, look, with the China 50 and these the Nikkei China 50, ASX 200, we'll just monitor them, because we're not going to touch them today, because that's it. They're finished for the week. Yeah, of course, it will be just interesting to see how today's reaction is going to be on the NFPs, because we have those today, and how the reaction will be on the US indices. Now, and then this may have its knock-on effect on Nikkei, on China 50, and ASX 200 when they open up on Monday. But again, we'll get to that point. For now, looking at the technical picture here, I would say as long as we stay above this 13,252 territory, then yes, I will go a little bit higher. ASX 200 looking good, getting a nice little rebound from this territory, the 7,215 zone here. So yep, so far so good. I talked about this yesterday, so I said to you that, look, keep your eyes on this hurdle, and if we do rebound, then yeah, my next target is this downside line drawn from the high of the 17th of April. Look, I get it, this downside line got violated a few times already, so maybe it's not going to be the the most important line of this chart, but at the moment, look, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm just gonna go for that one. In case this fails to, let's say, go all the way here towards this downside line and starts, let's say, reversing sharply to the downside, then of course, yes, my downside scenario could come on a break of this hurdle. Then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with that. Certainly, even I will get even more excited with the downside if we do fall below the 200-day EMA right here, the 7,187, and then yeah, we will go from there. In terms of, like, let's say, aiming for lower levels somewhere around here, I mean, for now, I don't have an exact level, so that's why I'm just gonna, keep it like free here. And once I start, let's say, if I do see this drop here, then yes, I'll reevaluate things, and I'll try to see which is the best target for this downside scenario. Now, just a second. Oh, before I go further, just a quick good morning in the chat room. Good morning, everyone. Yes, there we go. Hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Friday. Yeah. Look, I'll jump into... Oh, by the way, there is a question from JD Invest. I saw the comment, but I'll pick up on that a little bit later. Let me go through some of these instruments. Somewhere midway, I will see. I mean, I don't know. One of the viewers, I think, yes, JD Invest 1 asked me yesterday a question, so I'll pick up on that. I don't know if you are here already, so just kind of let me know if you're here. Then I can basically talk about it. But yeah. Look, Dow Jones Industrial Average. Yesterday, we saw some declines, some further declines in a way. And in general, yesterday, the U.S. stock market did close in negative territory a little bit, but not by much. Look, yesterday, we also fell below this lower side of this range, which I talked about. But I said to you before that in order for me to go lower, I need to see not only a break, but also the body of the daily candle staying below it. So what did I get? I got a break. What did I didn't get? The body of the daily candle staying below it. Well, what it means, that for me, that means that maybe we're not ready yet to go lower. However, we're very close to this breaking point, and we did break it. So the question for me now, can we actually do that again today? And maybe, we can kind of, kill off the bulls this week. And can the bears kill off the bulls this week? Just kind of to finish them off, and by clearing this territory and just, drifting lower. And then, yeah, the bears will for sure claim the victory this week on some of these instruments, like, for example, the Dow. But yeah, we cannot rush into anything yet, because again, we are near the lower side of the range. For now, we're just kind of, holding out there. And if we do drop and stay below it, then yes, I'll go lower. In terms of the upside, well, my cautious approach is, yeah, I'm going to wait for this one to kind of actually break the upper side of the range first, and then maybe I'll do something about it. The S&P 500. So the S&P 500, yeah, look, we fell below this and we stayed below this hurdle. This is what I talked about. Now, of course, this is where it's a little bit tricky, because if I'm saying that I'm on the Dow, I am a little bit kind of on the cautious side. On the S&P, I'm a little bit more on the bearish side, just because, like I said, it cleared this territory. So what it means that if I'm leaning here a little bit more towards the downside, then maybe actually we will get that breakout today. Again, let's see. I don't want to rush into anything for now. Like I said, because in general, what I said to you before, that if we do drop and stay below this territory, below this 4,557, then I'll go lower. I'll aim for this zone somewhere here, ideally aiming for the upside line or this territory around the 4,500 mark. We came very close yesterday to testing that, but unfortunately, unfortunately, we didn't really reach exactly that level. But hey, look, I said it before and I'll say it again. It's never the exact level. It's always the area near. So if we do get something like this, I think that in this situation, it is probably worth just to take take whatever you can. If you see that it's not going towards a certain level that you have drawn, or maybe it's actually not that it's the wrong level. No, maybe you're right. Everything's logical, but it's just that you're not the only one probably who's seeing it, and the market does like to do these tricks where it seems like everybody's seeing that target and everybody's like, oh yeah, sure, it's gonna go there, and then you know what, the market comes very close, like in this scenario, and it just kind of reverses, and and kind of people who are thinking just maybe a little bit more, and this is what happens. So just don't be greedy. Take what you can, and look and enjoy life. That's what I can say. One thing, but yeah, look. For now, I would say I'm just gonna probably approach this very cautiously. So as long as we stay below this 4,557 territory here on the futures, by the way, these are the futures that I'm looking at, then yes, I will consider, like I said, a further decline. If we do start popping back above it, then I will start maybe considering a move higher. However, I think that I would prefer maybe to wait for a push above this 4,588 zone, but actually I think it's time for me maybe to redraw this. Yep, I think it's time. So I think that maybe actually a push somewhere above this territory could do the trick. So basically a push above the 4,596 zone, something like that, could maybe be that gateway towards some higher levels. So I'm gonna leave this zone just for it to bounce around and just do stuff whatever it wants to do. But yeah, that's the game plan. Look, in general, today we have the NFPs, right? So we have the job numbers from the US. Of course, the current expectation is, let me just double check very quickly. Did it update? Yeah, it's the same. So the current expectation is for a 200K number to come out. The previous one was at 209. Let's see how this is going to play out, because if some, for example, like to check themselves or like gauge this number with the help of ADPs, which came out on Wednesday, that number came out much better than the forecast. I would say even okay, not a full double the number. No, it wasn't for sure. It wasn't the double number, but it came out. 189K was the forecast. The 320K was the actual number. However, it still fell below the previous number. It fell below the previous reading. So of course, somebody might say, hey, let's look at that, and then we can say that, oh, you know what, that means that the number here could actually, the NFP number could actually come out higher as well, higher than the forecast. No, we have seen this in the past, that it's not always correlating. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So if it ends up being like correlating only, let's say, half of the 50%, then well, it's not really correlation. So it's like just, okay, it's 50-50. But anyway, for now, of course, keep your eyes on those numbers. Look, don't be surprised, for example, if nothing happens before the number. Just I think everybody will be just sitting on their, on their hands and just waiting until the figure will start coming out. We have the European numbers coming out before that, some retail sales from the Eurozone, so something to keep in mind for DAX traders. Maybe will have an effect, but again, I'm not sure, because again, I think that everybody will just be sitting and waiting for the NFP. And of course, the average hourly earnings, that's something to keep in mind. Unemployment rate itself, for sure. But let's not forget that at the same time, we'll get Canada's numbers, Canada's employment figures. So, and together with, and later on, like an hour and a half later, we'll get the Canada's IV PMI number. So for those CAD traders, keep your eyes on those. But yeah, coming back to the indices, so that's, like I said, that's my game plan here on the S&P 500. Kasule Sovedi, morning. Talk about EURUSD. Talk about USD. Like, what do you mean? Like, just to mention it? I mean, okay. So very, very straightforward. But yeah, look, this is the list that I go through, right? This is the list on the right. You can see all the instruments here. These are going to be mentioned in this webinar. So EURUSD is all the way at the end here. So I have my list. So I need to go through it. So yeah, be patient. And yes. I'll pick up on that, don't worry. But yeah, guys, so DAX, the German index, beautiful rebound from the lower side of the this idea of a rising wedge pattern. So that's great. Okay, that's wonderful. Look, I said to you before, and I'll say it again. Of course, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside, but as long as we remain inside the pattern, it could still drift higher. So, for example, we had a similar situation here, back in the beginning of July, and now we're seeing the same story at the beginning of August. So, can we get a rebound and a push back up? Well, I would say this way, that if I want to go and consider higher levels again, I think that I will stick to this little territory, the highlighted zone here, the lower highlighted zone, which previously I looked at as the lower side of the range, but then it got violated. So now I'm just kind of, I think I'm just going to keep these. I'm going to reuse them for later. But look, sorry for the nose picking, but my nose is itching very, very much. But look, for now, I would say I'm just going to observe the price action here. If we do climb above this territory, somewhere above this 16,100 zone, something like that, or in general above the 50-day EMA, shown here as the red line, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. With the downside, I would like to see a drop below this upside line and below the 100-day EMA, and then potentially this could open the door to some slightly lower levels. We do have a bunch of other targets here on the way lower. Maybe some of these could work out, but hey, let's not rush into anything for now. Let's observe the price action. So, jumping into the FTSE 100 and looking good, looking very good, because look, I talked about this, and I said to you previously that I'm aiming for a retest of this downside line. This week, I've mentioned this in the beginning of this week. I said, dude, look, if we continue to hold here below this hurdle, then maybe a bit of a decline here could be possible. And then we tested the 23.6. I said that, and if we do drop below it, and we also drop below the 200-day EMA right here, shown as the black line, then yes, my next target is this downside line. Because I said it, I've mentioned it as well previously. I said that this theory of mine, actually, it's not really a TA rule. Don't get me wrong. This is something that just like a theory of my own, which comes from a few years of observation. And whenever we break the trend line, we kind of tend to test it from the other side. So in this case, we have a downside line. We broke it, we traveled higher, but then we ended up going lower, back down, and testing it from above. And now it could be acting as a nice little trampoline. So that's why I have my arrow like this. So yesterday we pierced through it, we dropped heavily below it, and this is where I was aiming. I said that if we do drop and stay below this, I'll go lower. And we did drop, and we went very deeply to the downside, but quickly reversed back up, and there we go. We saw a nice rebound, and we saw the body of the daily candle here staying above this downside line, so, and above that 38.2% retracement here on the Fibonacci, which I have drawn yesterday. So far so good. Yes, so far so good. And like I said, for now I'm kind of considering this scenario as my main one, but I'm being very careful because even if we do rebound, I will aim for the 200-day EMA right here, and then for the 23.6% retracement here on this Fibonacci, together with the 100-day EMA, which is the green line here. If you don't see it, the 100-day EMA. So basically, everything kind of comes in line nicely with this territory. So yeah, that's going to be my next target if we continue to trade above the 38.2. If we start falling below it and we fall back below this downside line, I am considering a move lower. And I think that this is where I need to kind of lower my appetite here. I think I need to just aim initially for the 61.8. Well, initially I'll target the 50% retracement on the Fibonacci, and then I'll target the 61.8. So now then, talking about US dollar, guys. So beautiful. I've mentioned this this idea, by the way. I threw it out, and before, like on the 2nd of August, I said that, look, we need to see a break of this downside, or a break through one of these trend lines in order to consider the next short-term directional move. Well, I got that breakout. That was fine. But it didn't really travel all the way higher here. Initially, I was targeting this 200-day EMA, and if that gets clear, then I'm aiming for these two ideal targets for me. These are ideal for me. And then, yes, but look, we're coming back to the same theory that I just mentioned with the FTSE, that whenever we break the trend line, we tend to kind of revisit it from the other side. It can sometimes happen earlier, sometimes a little bit later. But as you can see, yes, it happened straight away, so that's fine. We're currently getting a hold up here. We're also getting a hold up above that 100-day EMA, so everything's kind of coinciding here nicely. Now, if we do start falling back below this downside line, then yes, I'll consider a larger move to the downside here, but only up until this upside line drawn from the low of the 18th of July. And then, yes, we'll go from there. But again, the same story. You have to wait for the numbers to come out today in order for maybe for this one to get like some sort of a bigger move. For now, I would say as well that as long as this downside line provides support, because in this case, we broke it, we traveled higher, and then we reversed back down, and now it's kind of acting as a good area of support. So if as long as it holds and acts as a good area of support together with the 100-day EMA here, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA. Gold, there we go. So with gold, I've talked about this, and I said to you that in order to go lower, yes, I need to see a break of that 1945-46 territory, somewhere around here. And then, yes, at the same time, we will fall below the 100-day EMA, potentially attracting more sellers into the game. I'm sticking to that game plan still. So basically, as long as we continue to trade below this territory, I am leaning towards the 200-day EMA. Don't be surprised, for example, if we do, let's say, shoot up here and today and, you know, test this territory. But as I said, if we continue to trade below that 1945-46 zone, then yes, I will continue targeting that 200-day EMA. Silver, very quickly on this. So far so good. This one's a little bit more straightforward, I would say. So I said before that if we do drop below this 24.04 zone, I will aim lower, initially aiming for the, for the 100-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, then it's the 200-day EMA. Now, look, I would say this way: if we see that, I mean, if you manage to, capture something like here, then great, congratulations, guys. I mean, this worked out nicely. Look, for now, I would say this way: I'm just observing the price action. Because why? Because it's, like I said, doesn't mean that it will go and test exactly this 200-day EMA. No, it can just stall somewhere here and then reverse back up. So we have seen something like this happening. So there's just, at this point, don't try to chase it. Just leave it, let it settle. Then, if it does go lower, okay, that's fine. You cannot really capture every perfect move. That's impossible. Just we'll see how it plays out here. If it settles, okay, great. If it finds support here, that's fine. We can maybe see a little bit of a rebound or something like that. But at this point, yes, I'm just leaving it and observing the price action. Now, I'll jump into a few other instruments that I looked at previously. Copper. So this one, I have to say that it kind of worked and not at the same time, because the idea here was that if we do pop and stay above this barrier, this highlighted zone, I'll continue aiming to the upside. And then I said too that even if we do retrace back down here, as long as we stay above this highlighted zone, then yes, I will continue aiming to the upside. We did retrace, but we cleared it. We cleared this territory. And look, I said to you before as well that if we do fall back below this hurdle, I'll go lower towards this upside line. Boom. So far so good. In general, I would say not even so far so good. Mission accomplished on this one. Now the question is, what's going to happen further? Well, in general, I would say this way, that if we do break this upside line, then yes, I will go lower and I'll aim for this 3.78 territory somewhere around here. In addition to the break of this upside line, maybe, just maybe, we could keep an eye on this 3.82 territory. And maybe that could, attract a few more sellers into the game if we do drop below it. But as I said already, personally, I will keep an eye on this upside line, because if we do fall below this upside line, we would already fall also below all of the EMAs here on my daily chart here, and yes, potentially could attract more buyers. Now, in terms of the upside, I think that a few things have to be redrawn here, and maybe actually this territory no longer needed. I have to say that I think that this is it did its job. So I can get rid of this. So what I'm gonna do right now, although I really want to draw this downside line, but I can see that there was a violation back here. So in a way, maybe it's actually not the most interesting one, but I'm not going to get rid of it, because there is something else that I really, really like, and maybe this is going to work out. So maybe, just maybe, we have ourselves a nice rising wedge pattern, and if that's the case, guys, then, well, guess what, this may end up breaking to the downside. So because again, such patterns tend to be bearish, and we have ourselves, like I said, a nice rising wedge pattern. Rising wedges tend to break to the downside. However, as I already mentioned before with DAX, that while we remain inside the pattern, we could still move higher. So we need a clearance of this lower side, and this kind of comes in line perfectly with my lower side of the rising wedge pattern. Oil, just a quick one. I mean, this is a roller coaster ride. Honestly, look at this beautiful rebound from the upside line, and there we go. We're back on track for aiming aiming for the 83.54 territory, which I've mentioned before. This is my ideal area, not exactly the level, but the area near that level. This is what I'm going to aim for, and that's the highest point of April of this year, and also I think the highest point of this year in general. So that's what I'm aiming for now. Let's see if we can reach that. For the downside, I will stick to the same game plan. A drop below this highlighted territory for me would be required. Now then, jumping into wheat. By the way, I don't know if JD Invest won this one of our viewers so who left a comment yesterday. So if you're here, just let me know. Then I'll pick up on the on the topic that you've mentioned yesterday. So now then, beautiful move here, a beautiful rebound. So in general, the idea worked out perfectly because again, I said to you that if we do break this upside line, I'll go for the lower side of this range that we're currently could be sitting in. Yep. So that's for now. That's my game plan. Oh, sorry, actually, my game plan already happened. So now the question is, can we go below this lower side of the range? Well, to be honest, I think that what I'm going to do right now is just going to take a seat and just relax. Why? Because this upside line is no longer needed. Let me get rid of it. With the upside scenario, actually, I would like to see a push somewhere above this midpoint here, this midpoint of this range, and then I'll aim for the upper side of the range. So all this zone right here, it's something of a neutral one for me because look, somebody might say, but hey, if this is a range, then we could go back up here. Yes, if we do climb back above the midpoint of this range. If we do climb a bit higher, find resistance somewhere maybe near the 50 or the 100-day EMA, and then we drift back down. So then, you know, or maybe actually we're not even going to go higher. If, let's say, the dollar explodes, you know, higher today, and maybe actually we'll fall off the cliff here and we'll break the lower side of this range. And this way, maybe confirming a possible double top here with the neckline being the lower side of this range. So again, there are plenty of stuff to consider, so I don't want to rush into anything, and that's why for now I'm just going to observe the price action and you know, enjoy myself. Daredevil Dave, good morning. Good morning to you too. So yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful start of Friday. I hope everybody else who's joining in right now are having a wonderful start of Friday, guys. I hope you're all feeling nice and refreshed. I know I don't, but okay, that's fine. And look, whenever I know myself, like whenever you feel tired or, you know, not really relaxed, try not to approach the markets. But if you really, really want to approach the market, then honestly, risk with have minimal risk, like risk with small amounts, just for the sake of it, you know. Because if you're really thinking that, okay, look, I'm tired, I'm really, you know, didn't have much sleep, and this here and this there and there, just like I said, if you still think that you need to trade, okay, you can. The only thing is, of course, that's not recommended for sure, but only then maybe like risk the smallest amount that possible there's possible, you know. And it just, if you need that rush, if you need that rush, because I know this is it's a psychological thing. We do trade because it's satisfying, you know, in a way. Even though we, for example, lose sometimes, you know, we still go back and trade because it's like an addiction a little bit, to be honest. It's for sure. That's, you know, if somebody says that it's not, then no, it is like a little addiction. But this is the most important, that, you know, sugar is addiction, right? Smoking is addiction, alcohol is addiction, you know, all these stuff are addictions, and trading is addiction as well. The only thing is that if you control it, and maybe it becomes like, you know, it's okay, tolerable. But when you start not controlling it, then yeah, then it's a big problem. And this is what I'm saying. So whenever you're tired, you tend to, you know, go a little bit overboard, you know, and you think that, oh, you know what, I'm tired, but I need to bring some sort of happiness into my life, and a good profit would bring that happiness to me. But then you actually go and trade, and then you lose. And yeah, just don't, honestly. Just try to evaluate, as I already keep on saying this, but you evaluate the markets, but before evaluating the markets, evaluate yourself. Can you actually approach the markets today, or you're feeling a little bit way too tired? Then, you know, if you are, then just leave it. There is always going to be a day for you to enter, and you know, but again, as I said before, always risk only what you can afford to lose, and of course have your stop loss in place. That's for sure. Corn, something that I've mentioned before, and I just wanted to pick up on this. So look, this is in general quite nice, bearish structure here, so it could potentially open the door for some further declines. You can see here that we are near this key support zone near the 474 territory. So yeah, if we clear that one, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and then yes, we could start aiming maybe for something around here, or maybe something around here. So basically 439, 414, 15 zone, something like that could be a nice good target. Soybeans, just a quick update on this one as well. So I've mentioned this before as well. Look, if we fell below this hurdle, I said that I'm going to aim for this territory somewhere near this 1,356 zone, and there we go. We got our move. And now what I said to you after that look, maybe this is forming a nice bearish flag. We have our pole and we have our little correction here to the upside. Maybe this is a bearish flag, or maybe even actually not a flag, maybe something like a pennant, because it's kind of a triangle shaped thing here, something like that. So just kind of keep that in mind, that if that's the case, then such patterns, according to the TA rules, technical analysis rules, these tend to break to the downside. But as I will take a very conservative approach here. I will keep an eye on this 1362, 1356 territory, this whole territory. If we clear that one, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with the downside. With the upside, well, this is where the interesting bit comes in. Maybe this. I don't know yet, and this is for sure. I really don't know with the upside. For me, at this point, maybe I will consider this as a barrier, but then even then, the problem is that depending on where these EMAs are going to be, maybe they're still going to be a little bit higher. Maybe we'll go upside here, test the EMAs, and then reverse back down. So I've seen this happening as well. So just be a little bit more on the careful side, guys. Jumping into crypto, a few cryptos actually. Ripple. So Ripple is falling apart here, and slowly, not rapidly, slowly. Unlike Litecoin, of course, which I'll pick up on in a bit. So I said to you before that if we do drop below the 0.6686 territory, I'm leaning towards the downside. Now, this is my ideal target, but actually I'm leaning towards the 50-day EMA first, this one right here. And then I will, actually, you know what, I'm just going to bring it here this way. So I'm aiming for this 50-day EMA, and then we will go from there. If it does rebound, okay, great. We can, rethink all this. But if we do clear this 50-day EMA, yeah, my next target is the 100-day EMA. Simple as that. For the upside, I will still stick to my game plan, and I will aim higher only if we do pop above this zone somewhere, above this 0.7310, 50 area, something like that. Bitcoin Cash. This one's resting already, so this one did what I asked it to do. Specifically, I spoke to Bitcoin Cash and I said, can you go towards that 50-day EMA? And it said, you know what, okay. And then it went there. So we're now resting near on this 50-day EMA. Look. For me, here I try not to overcomplicate life, and if we do fall below the 50, I will go just for the 100. That's it. With the upside, I will probably go for this 249.50 zone, somewhere around here. If we do pop above it, I'll go to the upside. Litecoin. Now, this one is a nightmare for the bulls for now, and look at this beautiful decline, beautiful move lower. However, of course, somebody might say that, hey, maybe this, it's throwing out this opportunity to go long at some point. Well, let's see. Now, what I said to you yesterday, that if we do drop below this territory, below this 87.54 zone or this 208 EMA, then I'll go lower. We reached one of my targets here, actually, the 81.76. So that's the low of the low of the 28th of June. So we're currently getting a little hold up here. Am I further bearish? Well, this is where I want to bring in the bigger picture a little bit. So, and in the bigger picture, I want to start drawing some lines. Now, first of all, I will I'll take this low, and from here, I will draw a trend line. I'll see if this is actually working. No, this is actually very tentative. I think all of them are going to be very tentative. So I'm going to keep this one for now. Then I'm going to draw another trend line, draw it this way, and I'll see that, okay, this one looks a little bit more interesting just because we still have a bit of room here until we could potentially reach this. So in a way, what I can say is that if we do drop below that hurdle, below that 81.76, then yes, I will consider a move towards this upside line drawn from the low of the 9th of November of 2022. So that's going to be my target for now. If we do drop below the 81.76 territory, which is the low of the 28th of June. And then, yeah, I'll go from there. If this decides to reverse back up, I think I will maybe start looking at some higher levels already from here, but you know what? It's not really good. I think it's better to maybe wait for a break. Oh, no. No, not this way. A break of this downside line, maybe. But again, depending on how this is going to trade, maybe actually this 87.54 level could come in nicely here. So just let's keep an eye on that one. So, okay, so let's jump into a few pairs very quickly, guys. So, oh, by the way, once again, because like I said, yesterday I had a comment from JD Invest 1. So whenever you're here, let me know. I'll talk about the what you've wrote yesterday. So yeah, it was a comment on under my yesterday's video. But otherwise, I'm just gonna leave it up until the end of this video. So yeah, very quickly, guys. AUDNZD. Just look, I'm gonna run through a bunch of these. Most of them are the same, but just wanted to pick up on that. So yes, we're still in the range here on AUDNZD. So as I said to you before, for the upside, I would like to see a push back above all of the EMAs here and this 1.0840 zone. For the downside, a drop below the lower side of this range is required for me. So at this point, and in general, look, if this is a range, then most like, or sorry, I wouldn't say most likely, but according to the technical analysis rules, if we start ranging, we look at the prevailing trend. So the prevailing trend was to the downside before entering this range. So that means that there's a good likelihood that we could see a push, a nice push to the downside here. But again, confirmation break is needed. We cannot say that, you know, it goes a little bit higher here and you're thinking like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go short right now and then just, you know, enjoy life. No, it might push back up towards this, upper side of the range, you know, and maybe actually this is not going to be like something like according to the TA rules, because maybe this is going to form something like a double bottom here, and this is a double, you know, inverted double top here. That's not double bottom, double inverted double top, or actually which is a double bottom. But and then this is a neckline, and then we're going to break it, and then we're going to go higher. You know, maybe it's that thing. We never know until it happens, unfortunately. You know, as much as I'm trying to rub my crystal ball here, yeah, I think I rubbed it too much already. Like, you know, the hair is growing only on the sides. But look, we can, like I said, we can try to predict it, you know, as much as we want, but it's very difficult, as you know yourselves. So that's why I just try to go from like slowly from what I have, and at this point I have something that is trading closer to the lower side of the range. And if we do get that break here of the lower side of the range, then great, more sellers could join in. AUDJPY, also this one dropped below this hurdle yesterday, this 93.77. I talked about it in my morning video, and we dropped and we moved towards this 93 zone. So okay, that's a good area of support. My ideal scenarios, as you can see, is here, 91.80. But before that, I have the 200-day EMA, which could also play out nicely. So long story short, for now, I am still leaning towards the downside as long as we stay below this 93.77 territory. If we do push back above it, I'll consider a bit of a move maybe to the upside, maybe like a bit of a retracement here towards this downside line. USDJPY, also, look, yesterday I've redrawn this a little bit. Just bear with me one moment. Yesterday I've redrawn this, and I said to you that if we do drop back below the 143 territory, I will aim for this zone, for the 142 zone, close to that. And there we go. Fantastic move. Fantastic result here. Look, now the question is, can we climb back above this downside line? I will probably, again, I'm not going to remove these arrows here because and levels because I really like them still. Yes, it kind of got violated a few times, but I don't know, I still like them. So for me right now, it's this way, that if I want to go higher, a break of this downside line is needed again. So in other words, another push above the 143 is required. If we continue to trade below the 143, yes, there is still a chance of drifting lower, but I think at this point now, if you want to go lower, I think that maybe the 142 would be the better option. Just kind of leave it up. If it's going to continue trading here, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to observe the price action. USDCAD very quickly. So in a way, mission accomplished this week. So I said to you that if we do pop above the 1.3254 territory, I'll go higher. If we also stay above the 50-day EMA, then yes, my next target is the 100-day EMA, and then maybe this 200-day EMA. Tick, tick. What's next? Well, next is the IV PMI, and before that, it's the Canadian employment numbers together with the US numbers. So basically, in other words, this pair could be a very, very big mover. And not only in one direction, it could be actually very, very choppy. And because we have US numbers coming out and then Canadian numbers coming out at the same time. And yeah, so it's going to be a very big battle, I think, between the Bulls and the Bears here. Who will outweigh who, and then maybe it will calm down, and maybe then when the Canadian PMI numbers are going to be coming out like an hour and a half later, then we'll see the real the real vector of for this pair. But at this point, I would say this way, that if I want to go higher, I want to see a push above the 200-day EMA at least. In order to go lower, I think a drop back below the 1.33 territory would be required. USDCHF, just a quick one on this one. So yeah, we got a move towards this 50-day EMA. Yesterday, I talked about this and I said that if you want to go higher, look, this 0.8820 zone is something to keep an eye on together with the 50-day EMA. So far, we're not really getting anything here. I'm just for now observing the price action. Look, if we do pop above the 50-day EMA and this 0.8820, then yes, I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. I'll aim for the 100-day EMA. Also, something that I mentioned here yesterday, this long highlighted zone, and for that I need to jump into a monthly chart. This is the lowest point of 2021. So as you can see here, we're currently on a monthly chart here, and we're just kind of we're oscillating around that hurdle. So I said to you yesterday, that if we somehow, let's say at the end of August, stay below this hurdle, and maybe there's more downside to come, this is quite an important area of support in general. So if we stay below it, then maybe yes, we could see another decline. So that's why I'm not rushing into anything. We just started the month, so you might still see, bouncing around here. Maybe we could go a little bit higher. Maybe then we'll move back down. So just kind of keep that in mind, because in general, there is a potential for this one to move a little bit to the upside more. But let's say if we do draw something from here, then yes, we still have some room. If we do draw something from here, then yes, we have even more room. So that's why, but again, all these lines are very tentative, so don't really, focus on them too much. We'll focus on them I will focus on them if I do see a push back above the 50-day EMA, and then I'll aim for this downside line first, and then for that one. But the flatter one is near my other target, which I have initially said already, the 100-day EMA. US dollar against the Mexican peso. Boom. There we go. If you're trading this, congratulations, guys. If you're on the bull side, then congratulations. You might manage to capture a very good move. Look, we pushed above the 50-day EMA. We tested the 100, so everything's good. If you want to go further north, I'm not even going to draw any levels. I'm just going to say if we do clear this 100-day EMA, I'll go for the 200-day EMA. That's it. If you want to go back to the downside, a drop back below the 50-day EMA would be required. Simple. At At least for me, this is my simple approach. I'm not even, like I said, drawing any levels for now. Although I'm very, very tempted to, maybe just to put this one on there, just, so to have it there, this 17.40 zone, something like that, which coincides nicely with the 100-day EMA, so yeah, that okay, we can keep that one. If it pushes above that barrier, I'll get a little bit more excited, but not because it's like a super awesome barrier. Okay, that as well, but just mainly because I'm just going from the EMA perspective on this pair. GBPUSD. So yes, Bank of England yesterday shuffled the cards a little bit. Look. Basically, with the Bank of England yesterday, they went for another hike, for the 14th hike in a row, and the interest rate came out at 5.25. But the thing is that I think that the market in the pound reacted negatively to that. Everybody was like thinking, hey, but why? It was actually higher than the previous and but higher than the previous number, so it should have been a positive thing for the pound. Initially, I think that the reaction was that everybody was kind of a little bit hoping maybe for a 50, because again, already it was expected, and everybody's thinking that, hey, maybe, a 25 basis point is not enough to kind of control inflation because that one's out of hand in the UK, out of control a little bit. And everybody was kind of hoping to see that, and the pound didn't like that, the pound traders didn't like that, and they sold. But again, very quickly everything recovered. But I think in this situation here, we saw recovery also boosted by the a weaker dollar, some weakness in the dollar yesterday, in the US dollar. So that's why we had a nice little. And in general, look, I talked about this. I said to you that keep your eyes on this 100-day EMA. If it provides good support, maybe we'll see a nice little rebound back up. And this is what happened. I will take this. This is great. So now what's next? Well, in a way, you know what? I would like to see a drop below the 100-day EMA in order to go lower. This I really don't like. When it's in midpoint between the two EMAs, I really don't know. And I really don't know what's going to happen here. So somebody might say, hey, but maybe this is a nice little like pin bar or, doji. Yes, could be a nice reversal signal for sure. Not arguing there, but again, look, it might drift lower again. It might test this territory. Then maybe find some support here and then strongly rebound back up. So it's not maybe as straightforward. So that's why my upside scenario here will be only, well, initially I will keep an eye on the 50-day EMA. If that gets cleared, I will aim for this downside line. So I need to, I think, put an arrow somewhere here. This is going to be my target. If this downside line gets cleared, then yes, I will go higher. GBPNZD, very quickly, so still the same game plan. Look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, again, I keep on talking about this whole week. So for now, and yeah, I need to see a clearance of this upper side. EURCAD, something to keep in mind as well today because of the Canadian numbers, and I mentioned this before. So look, I need to see a pop up of this 1.4633 territory in order to go a little bit higher. This is my ideal scenario, but actually I think maybe we could end up testing something around here, around these lines initially, the 1.4715, and then we'll go from there. And finally, EURUSD, we dropped below the subside line. We fell below the 1.0977 territory. I said that yesterday that look, if we do want to go further south, because we reached my target, the 100-day EMA. So if we do clear this one, then yes, I will go lower. And if that gets clear, then yes, certainly potentially more sellers could join in, and we could aim for this 1.0814 territory together with this 200-day EMA. But in order to go lower for me at this point, I need to see a drop below the 100-day EMA, which is roughly on my chart here is roughly around the 1.0923 zone, something like that. This 100-day EMA, so 1.0923, something like that, could be a nice good breakout point for some lower levels. For the upside, I will stick to the same game plan. I need to see a push above the crossroads between these two trend lines, and then I'll get more comfortable with higher levels. Now, before I finish, I just wanted to quickly say that about the comment that was made by JD Invest, because I can see that he's not here, but anyway, I'll just quickly mention that the comment said that why not to, you know, for me to do some sort of like demo or whatever and do some trades so that everybody could see my exact entry points and my you know, stop TPs and SLs. Well, first of all, that's not this is not the whole point of this webinar. This webinar is not to give you exactly where to enter. No, I'm giving you scenarios where you can decide for yourself. And in general, I cannot tell you to go long here or go short here. For this, you can join a Telegram channel of some sort, you know, like, and then they tell you where to, because they for sure they know that what's gonna happen, right? I don't know for sure what's gonna happen. I'm just going for, like you, I'm just trying to apply logic, just common sense, and basically just trying to make it sound a little bit logical. In general, as I've already showed several times, that oh, SPK, I already talked about gold, so just rewind the video before, I mean, this after, because I'm already finishing the webinar, so I already talked about gold, so just, you know, pick up on that once the video is finished. But yeah, like I said, coming back to the point of, let's say, giving you advice. No, first of all, I cannot give you advice. That's legally not, I cannot do that legally. So I'm just sitting here and evaluating the charts, and I'm just sharing with you what I see. Look, I might be wrong, and I am wrong on occasions here. Of course, that's, you know, we're all human, and that's why, look, you decide yourself what you want to do. I'm just saying that, you know, how it looks to me. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. That's fine. We're, you know, it's fine that you don't agree, because maybe you'll see something else actually. But the thing is that when you join webinars like this, and when I join webinars of other people, I don't go for like some sort of like a holy, to find out a holy grail of how to do things. No, I'm just getting some sort of I'm capturing information here, there, and just building my own decision. You know, this is the whole point of this webinar, is for you to build your own you know, your own ideas, your own decision, make your own decisions, and just kind of go from there. You know, I'm not here to tell you exactly go long here, go short here. No, that's not, it's never going to happen. I'm just saying that, look, I'm getting bullish a little bit from, let's say, if this gets broken, I'm getting a little bit more bearish if that gets broken. But how many times we've seen that sometimes that doesn't happen? We see it a lot of times. So just kind of be careful on that, guys. Look, like I said, this show is not for giving you advice. I'm just here evaluating the markets, sharing it with you, and you can decide whatever, you know, if you think that this idea is crap or this idea is good. It's totally up to you. So look, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time today, guys. Thank you very much for your views, for your rocket ships, for your comments, for everything. I really appreciate your time. You don't even imagine how much I thank you for killing your time, killing an hour with me, basically. So I hope it's useful, at least, you know. But enjoy your session today, guys. Don't overtrade. Have your stop loss in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. As I said, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. Leave it, if what, you can always leave it for Monday, because Monday could be an interesting one as well. But have a nice day, have a nice weekend, and I'll see you on Monday, 6 o'clock GMT time. Don't forget. So thank you very much, and bye-bye. Uh-oh, you just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.